What's going on, guys? We have a special guest, John Felix, the inspector.
Felix from Felix Inspections. Here we are in the Bronx checking out a multifamily property, all brick structure. We're going to be looking at the exterior components of the house to make sure that the structural integrity is intact. So there's a couple of items that I already observed that I will be pointing out during our walkthrough today, and we'll just take it step by step as we go through it.
Awesome. Yeah, what's the first thing you're going to just be looking at?
So the first thing that stands out to me right now when we're looking at this house is your steps coming into the house.
Okay.
You know, whenever you have more than 3 stairs on your staircase, you want to make sure that you have a handrail attached, similar to what this property has here.
Okay. Got it.
Just for safety reasons. So right now we're going to recommend that you have a handrail installed, so your tenants can access the property nice and easy. Obviously, we see some deterioration on the concrete guardrail here, which is a concern for safety. It is deteriorating, and as the winter comes and the thaw cycle starts to happen, moisture will continue to get inside and decompose that material a lot further.
Awesome. Okay.
Right. If you walk with me a little closer, and we look at our window well, if you look at your lintel, which is this brown metallic steel structure underneath the brick, as you can see, it's rusting now. I see signs of rust, which means that moisture is getting inside of it. Now just imagine this window's not here. It's just a big hole, and all the weight of this brick is resting on that metal steel.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
On that steel beam. Right. So we want to make sure that we protect the integrity of it, because if you look here, I'll use this broom as my pointer. But if you see this step cracking here, that's telling me that there's a bit of a strain on the lintel, and so it's compromising the integrity of the weight coming down onto the window. Right. So that's
Which means you have to get that repointed?
So a couple of things we got to look at. This means that the weight of it's settling down. So I have to have someone has to come in and look at the lintel and look at it a lot closer to determine how deep does that rust and oxidation goes into the lintel. It may be a matter of replacing the lintel altogether, or just replacing the brick and repointing.
Got it.
We're not sure yet, but it's something that we have to pay some attention to.
Understand. Good to know. Thank you. Which type of home requires more maintenance? A brick home or a framed home?
In my opinion, I would say that a brick home requires less maintenance, because brick homes are designed to withstand the elements and the weather, right?
Got it.
There are changes to the brick that can happen over time that are caused by a homeowner that can lessen or deteriorate the lifespan of that integrity. But just to answer your question, the brick would be less maintenance than a frame home.
Got it. All right.
How long this wall has been painted? It's not recommended that you paint brick walls. Right, brick walls are porous, and so they're meant to breathe. That's why they require less maintenance, and that's why they have an aesthetic value. Once you paint them, they lose that aesthetic value. All right.
Got it.
It doesn't look as pretty as it would when it's in its natural state.
Right.
When you paint it, you're trapping in the moisture as it's breathing.
So good to know.
After a while, you start seeing signs like this. It's starting to it's called spalling. So now this is cracking because of all the moisture. It's getting caught behind the paint. All right. And then this what ultimately does, it starts to deteriorate the brick face.
Got it.
From inside, and that's why you see a lot of this
cracking.
Right.
Got it.
Okay.
Right.
This is spalling. And then you're going to see that throughout, all the way up, especially on top. Okay. Now the concern here is simple. If I'm standing here and I'm speaking to you, those pieces can crumble and then fall on someone, on a vehicle, on a person. Ultimately, what you want to prevent is this from deteriorating to a point where now water and moisture can filter through. So we're going to write this up. I'm going to recommend that you guys speak with a qualified mason contractor to come and assess and make the proper repairs.
Got it. Perfect.
So as you guys can see here, we have a sloped driveway. All right, but your wall is still painted and it's still trapping in moisture on that foundational wall,
Right.
that should be breathing because it's porous. The concern here when we have this kind of wall is that it is also deteriorating the composition of the brick and the stone or the concrete on the bottom portion of the wall. And so the concern there is that it's eating it away, and then do we have a leak in the basement? Is there more to it than what we're seeing out here?
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So things for us to look at when we get inside.
All right.
So as these are flipping and switching their numbers and their codes, you're gonna see here like it says closed. Okay. Let's see if another one. They're all gonna say it at some point, or they may see here it says closed. Okay, and then here it should say closed, or it's gonna say open. I'm looking for that closed wording, because if it says closed, that means that there's a closed loop, meaning that this unit is being occupied and Con Edison has closed the loop and now it's circulating electricity around that unit. If it was open, that means that there's no meter, that there's no box, that it's an open circuit, meaning there's no feed going into it, which is the opposite. You would think that open is good,
And then
while closed is not.
Yeah,
It's the opposite.
Okay, good to know.
Then
More gems.
This here is your water meter, which should be attached to the wall, because what you don't want is for this wire to break. So every 3 months you get a bill from the DEP letting you know what your water consumption is.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm just going to recommend that these get affixed to the wall, and that cable doesn't break, because then they're going to have to come out and give you get a manual reading. Or not only that, when you get your water bill, you're going to get a reading that says estimated reading or actual reading.
Okay.
Right, when it's estimated is because they're not able to communicate with the Wi-Fi receiver within the house. So that's something that we have to look out for. But these are your meters for your water.
Got it. Which need to be fixed next to the wall. Get this. So we have the drone. We are going to inspect the roof. Okay. What do we see?
You see this black dark shadow here?
Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah.
Right. So that's ponding. All right. So by getting closer, probably we may see that the water's still there, or that's just the dirt from the water. So right now it's there it is. You can see the water.
Okay. Yeah, I see the water.
See it? How my drone?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Right. So that's called ponding. Yeah. So normally what happens, all the dirt, debris, kind of collects underneath there. So typically that takes about 48 hours or so to kind of dissipate and go away. But it just tells us that on that portion of the roof there's a bit of a bend.
It's not completely flat.
It's not completely flat, right? And it's allowing the water to pond there right before it enters the gutter system here.
Oh, I understand. Okay. I
See the gutters here?
Yep. Got it. Okay.
Right, so that's what and then ultimately it'll go down this hole here into your downspout right here, and then away into the ground level.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
So here's your chimney. Now obviously we know that it's not a wood burning chimney, but more so. Holy shit!
Oh, how to get that?
Did you get it? All right. Those are the struggles of being a home inspector. You get a little critter surprising you. Did you really get that? So back to this before we got interrupted with that bumblebee. Here we have your chimney. Now this chimney is strictly there for your heating system, meaning your boiler to be able to breathe and exhaust the carbon monoxide gases. But as you can see here, as we get closer, we can tell that it's a brick masonry chimney.
Yeah.
So what did the homeowners do? They painted over it with tar and aluminum paint. And so now what you did was you sealed the entire structure, brick structure, not allowing it to breathe, because again, back to what we were saying about the walls and brick. They're porous and they need to be able to breathe.
Okay.
All right, so we won't be able to know what the condition of that brick and mortar is, but what I can tell you also is that we're missing a chimney cap here.
Oh,
Okay. So things that we want to note for the homeowner to go ahead and install the chimney cap to make sure that we minimize the amount of debris or animals, squirrels, chipmunks that can dive in there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.